Today we're looking at G-Eazy's house in Los Angeles, specifically Hollywood Hills. I'm actually very interested to see what the inside of this house looks like and do this little video tour, because I do know that he bought a house, but his acquisition cost, his purchase price of the home, was pretty low for that area. He spent a little under $2 million to get this home. So unless he just bought land and built something, which I don't think he did, that's a very low home price for that area. I realize $2 million is a lot of money, but for there, it's like, it's buying a tiny little thing. So for the amount of money that G-Eazy probably pulls in per year from his music career, I think this is going to be a modest house. But yeah, let's take a look.
What's up, AD? Welcome to Jerryland. Come on inside. So what drew me to this house initially was its warmth and its homey kind of vibe.
Okay, so I don't mean to stop the video so early on, but just that quick little montage of them showing different rooms in the house, and now, you know, we're sitting here in the living room. You can tell by the structure of this home, this isn't going to be a really large house. This is actually going to be very much more traditional. So let's continue on.
Kind of Spanish Moroccan style, a whole lot of wood, and in particular these beams up here. This was the first thing that completely sold me on this house. We pretty much completely redid most of it, added in these bookshelves. Books are huge to me. They just make a home feel like a home, and I actually do read a lot. This is the living room. I'm really big on rugs. As the dude in The Big Lebowski would say, it really ties the room together. You know, old traditional rugs, especially if they're actually like lived in and walked on and used, just really adds like a warmth to a home. I want a home to feel like a home, not just a house or not just, you know, a hotel. In music, you travel so much, you know, you're rarely ever actually home. But this year, especially quarantine, I really got to live here, honestly. But when I'd be on the road,
this is cool. This is really, really cool to hear someone of that caliber. I say caliber, but to reach that level of success, right? And he must have money, okay? To say something like that about home, and that when you're on the road all the time and all you're seeing is probably higher end, luxurious hotels, and I don't know if they stay at Airbnbs or whatever resorts and things that they stay at when they're on tour, to come home to something that really, really feels cozy, that feels, like he said, warm. I think that's a really, really cool perspective. The guy can obviously afford one of the homes in Los Angeles that sits on a cliff and has the ultra modern look to it and has all the marble, and the Corian and the quartz and all of the materials you could ever want, but he chooses not to. He goes a way more humble route, I guess you would say. This is a really nice home, but it's not what you would imagine a superstar rap artist to have, I don't think.
Road, you know, I'd look forward to getting to come home, and I need this to feel like it's home. So this guitar, this was actually a gift from somebody very special to me. I got that for Christmas. I'm learning to play, I'm not very good yet. I've been in love with music since I was old enough to understand it. My aunt and uncle were in a rock band. I would watch them rehearse and I idolized them. My uncle played guitar and he was just nasty at it. That drew me to music at a very early age. I took some piano lessons when I was a kid, but over quarantine I really started actually taking it serious again and spending time on the piano every day. Having instruments in a home, you know, is so essential to me, you know, as somebody who, you know, has lived a life in music. This is a piece by an artist by the name of Fucci, who I'd been following for years on Instagram and admiring his work. And I kind of like the juxtaposition and clash it even creates. You know, you have everything else that's so traditional and old feeling and warm, and then you have this clash of color and this bright pop art. Over here is a good friend of mine, Kai. I've known him for years and years and years, and he did this specifically for me. He did a spin-off of a classic piece, Nighthawks. His interpretation of it was adding me.
That's very cool. I wish I had something like that. I think, but you know, that fits that fits G-Eazy's image very well to include him in that famous piece. And it's funny that he's talking about James Dean right now. I didn't even hear him say that, but I was going to say it's very James Dean-like, and that's a very cool image. Secondly, this is something that I've noticed while touring Los Angeles homes. They use artwork a lot more than a lot of other areas in the US in terms of their staging and what people include in their homes. You're going to see a lot more colorful, big, giant art pieces showcased in the living rooms and the family rooms, and even, you know, in the kitchens. Something that I haven't seen a ton of on the East Coast, but very popular there in Los Angeles.
Where James Dean goes. This couch is the most comfortable couch in all the universe of couches. Spent a lot of time right there. Over here, this is, I guess, my dining room. For me, it's essential to just have this flow and walkway through from the living room to the entryway, to this dining room, to the kitchen. Over here, there's another piece by Kai. This is his like traditional character he does. This piece is actually my mom. She's a photographer, photo printmaker. I love having pieces of, you know, my family in my home. It just makes me feel closer to them. Obviously, music is big. I think when you put a record on, it's different than just, you know, connecting to Bluetooth and, you know, putting on a Pandora or Spotify station or something. I don't have like that crazy of a collection, but I got some stuff. Everything from Mac Dre to Radiohead to Sex Pistols to Lionel Richie to Nina Simone. A book collection and a record collection really just speaks to your identity. Speaking of, my favorite author is Charles Bukowski. I just love his boldness and his brashness, essentially his you-ness.
Charles Bukowski, if you don't know him, that's cool. I should grab that poster actually and put it in my home. I wouldn't mind that at all. He has some incredible poems, and very, like he said, it's a very dry outlook on things. Not negative, but I would look him up. I would look up some of his poems. Some of the stuff that he's written and done voiceovers on is actually extremely inspirational and motivational. I think the way that he looked at things was, it's good words of wisdom. It's almost as if your grandfather was sitting right next to you, and if he was very wise, these are the things that he would say to you. So I really like that. Just fun fact, you should look that guy up.
Here we have the kitchen. So my favorite color is dark green. I think dark green, especially next to gold, is really beautiful. I'm not much of a cook myself, but I do make a hell of a top ramen. You know, I put all the seasonings in there, from the cayenne pepper to the Tonys, but that's about all I cook. But I am big on coffee. Every single morning I make my coffee, and it's kind of like my meditative routine. It's very essential to start my day. I can't talk to anybody before I've had at least 2 cups of coffee. Whenever I have friends over, it's like we all gravitate immediately to the kitchen. This marble counter right here, you know, becomes the kick it spot. This is where drinks get made. This is where conversation gets had. This is where music gets listened to and played. This is where the vibe always starts.
I didn't realize how many times I was going to have to pause this video and speak, but there's so much to take in, so much to account for when you're looking at these home tours. That kitchen, I can tell you that's not the way that he purchased that home. Number one, I mean, the giveaway is the countertops and the appliances. He has very nice appliances, cooking like the oven in there. Plus he has marble countertops, and for the price that he bought this home at, that's probably not what the kitchen looked like, and he had to replace the countertops, therefore tear up the cabinets. So what I was going to say is that the way he's designed the kitchen, though, is an awesome mid-century type look, where it's designed to look old, for, you know, lack of a better term, but it looks so sleek and I want to say cozy, but it's the mid-century vibe. It takes you back into the past, but he's right with the dark green and the gold going back and forth with each other. I think it's a great look, but it's interesting that he renovated a kitchen to look like something 70, 80 years ago, but that's very cool.
When I was looking for a house down here in LA, I wanted some kind of a view and I wanted some kind of pool. When I came to see this house for the first time, you know, this is something that sold me almost immediately. The pool, it's really more or less a massive hot tub. I probably pay way too much in energy costs, but I keep it almost 100 degrees pretty much all the time. It makes for fun night swimming. I like to make my coffee. I come out here and I just appreciate this vibe. It's just so much to be grateful for and to not take for granted. The beautiful weather here, this beautiful view, getting to live in the land of opportunity. The way the sun hits the house, it lets in a ton of light, but at nighttime, as soon as the sun goes down, it's beautiful. I love bistro lights. I love just like a soft, warm glow. Then I got a fire pit over here in the corner we like to post up at. It's a chill smoking spot. There's a lot of nights where cats end up flipping off of this rail and into the hot tub and going for night swims. Anything goes at Jerryland. This bathroom I worked on with my interior designer, and I wanted it to feel like a completely different vibe from the rest of the house, like almost like you're on an acid trip or something. So it's super dimly lit. We picked out this wallpaper to just be super trippy. And then there's a piece in here by a good friend of mine, an artist by the name of Nate Turbo. It says, "Give me all the partying." Yeah, this bathroom's just a vibe. So from upstairs to downstairs, you know, it's all kind of connected and it's not really that separate. This is a piece by my homie Saif. This is a good friend of mine, one of the first people I met.
That bathroom that he had back there, I'm getting the same vibe. I know how he explained it, but I'm getting the same vibes as I did from his kitchen. That bathroom to me feels like just a big mixture of old world European style mixed with some luxury. Obviously, he has some higher end materials in there that are meant to replicate the look of. It looks like a bathroom you might find if you were walking down the alley streets in an old European town and you just went into a random row home. That's the bathroom that you might find. I think it's cool.
At New Orleans, one of my best friends, my brothers, he's kind of stopped rapping and took up painting, and he's just become incredible at it. And I always like to support the homies and support art in general. This piece was a gift from another good friend of mine, Ashley Longshore. It's a painting of one of my favorite rappers of all time, obviously Lil Wayne. I love pop art. And I love what she's doing with her whole career. You know, to get this as a gift from her, that meant the world. That's why I get to make some people jealous. We got it all sectioned out, leather jacket collection. You know, we got the blazers down here, suits, jacket.
This closet does not match the rest of the house at all. That closet is probably the size of his living room or his kitchen. I'm assuming that he took one of the rooms of the house, gutted it out completely, like a full-sized bedroom or something, and made it into a closet, because there's no way that size closet would be in that size home.
It's dress shoes here, boots, creepers, but then the sneakers is where I really just get to stunt. Sneakers, 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 the Air Mags, Back to the Future. If I could pick out one thing in this entire closet, it's my favorite piece. It's either there's a certain Saint Laurent jacket that I've worn for so many years that it's become like a second layer of my skin. Either that or these right here. This is my holy grail in terms of sneakers. It's the Nike SB Pigeons. Crazy controversy over when these were released. The irony is I'm actually totally afraid of pigeons. I have a weird phobia of birds, but for some reason this shoe, I just felt like it's the most beautifully designed, and then all the lore behind it and how rare it is. That's a pair that makes people upset. From the Bay Area, so when it comes to hats, you'll usually always see me in an A's hat or a Giants hat. So the conversation of LA and the Bay is a tough one. You know, there's always kind of been like a rivalry, and being from the Bay, you know, I miss it. I miss my friends and family back home. I miss the energy back home, but it is a slower pace. LA is the land of opportunity. You know, things move so fast down here. So in the music business, it's almost like you kind of have to be here, but in a perfect world, man, I moved back home before too long. When I redid the house, it kind of started with the idea of this room. This was originally a bedroom that we knocked down a wall, connected to my bedroom. It's crazy to think that I turned a whole bedroom in my house into a closet and it's still overflowing. Like, I almost need a whole nother bedroom just for shoes or something like that. Or I just need to stop buying stuff. I like keeping things like, you know, the dark gray, like cold feel of like the sheets. This is like my reading station. I love this chair. Hermes blanket for the cold nights. Right here next to my baby. I love you, Kate. You're so beautiful. We added these in. Before this, it was literally just wide open and it was so bright. You know, sometimes I'm a nocturnal animal. Sometimes I'm up all night in the studio working, and I sleep all day. And that's just how it goes. So the blackout curtains are hella essential. Sleep is essential. You gotta get that to stay healthy. This might be the most...
I'm assuming that he's going to cut back and show his shower. That shower is incredible that they just showed really, really quickly there, that he was standing in front of. That shower is obviously not something that came with the house. It is the size of a small bedroom as well.
Genius idea I've ever had. Love it or hate it, but keeping a fridge in my bedroom full of waters is the most essential. Wake up in the middle of the night, parched, just come right here, just get you a water. I love this piece. I guess it's a little dark to have in a bedroom, but it is what it is. The archway into the bathroom, this was here when I moved in, and it was another thing that attracted me to buying the house. You know, this kind of Moroccan, you know, Spanish feel to it. It's another thing that adds warmth, you know, to homes, in my opinion. I've never been a fan of like the super cold, sterile, super geometric, you know, big wide open, super modern homes. I like it to feel like a bit older with more character. So we kind of went like Bruce Wayne, super masculine with the bathroom. I'm pretty big on minimalism, as you can see. Yeah, big walk-in shower, wonderful steam room with the eucalyptus. I love steam rooms. So that was one of the things I knew I wanted to do with the house, is turn this shower into a steam room. It's a vibe. You gotta sweat out everything. Sweat out the night before, if you will, you know? I kind of have this open door policy, you know, for friends and family. When anybody needs anywhere to stay, you know that you always have a home here at the land. So having this guest room is essential. It's actually one of my favorite rooms in the house. When I'm here alone, sometimes I'll crash in this room, sometimes I'll sleep on my couch, sometimes I'll sleep in the downstairs guest room. That's kind of like me being a big kid, you know, in my home and having it all to myself and being able to do what I want. This is another piece my mom did. That's my little brother. When he was, I believe, 2 years old, he actually drowned. And I swam down and swam him out of the pool when I was like 5. Essentially, you know, helped save him. So this piece means a lot to me. You know, I love my brother. He's my favorite person on the planet. So I love having this piece here. This is a photo.
It's a great story behind that piece and that photo. I was actually smirking before he said the story, which changed the mood. I thought that it was the Nirvana album cover. I thought that's what it was, and then it went completely in a different direction.
One of my best friends, Grady Brandon, took, and it was the first time I'd sold out the Fox Theater in Oakland. It's one of the most legendary venues back home. It's just a moment that's frozen in time that, you know, means the world to me. Comes with a beautiful balcony right here. Nice place to wake up and enjoy a cup of coffee. The view from this balcony is exceptional. What's not to enjoy? When I was looking for homes, what attracted me to it also was just that, like, where the studio is separate from the main house. That's just something that's important to me, I think. Having your place where you live and then having your place where you work. Even if it's, you know what I mean, connected in the same home technically, the fact you have to go outside and it's like a separate space, a separate universe you walk into. I think those things are just essential to kind of split apart. There's a lot of stairs in my house. Some people get really exhausted coming up all these sets of stairs. To me, I think it's good exercise. But for those times that you don't quite have it in you, I do have an elevator in the crib. This we redid with my designer. The red velvet walls, Moroccan tiles, alabaster light in here. All right, I'll see y'all in the studio.
This house overall is just, it is a very cool house. I like the way that he's designed it. It does have the part of it that makes you feel really centered, I guess, as a person in his position. It would make you feel more grounded, time away from the fast-paced lifestyle and kind of collect your thoughts and get it together. And then it's mixed with these just really cool things that really only money could afford to renovate these items. That little elevator there, I feel like it's a 1920s hotel that you'd be going into with the tiny little elevators that only fit one person, 2 people if you really pack in. But the whole vibe of everything that he's doing, I think it's a cool vibe.
So on the upstairs level, this is kind of like the lounge, kick it spot for the homies. I love neon. I've always loved neon. My dad's an artist as well, and he did a lot of art using neon. So I think I was always just kind of like attracted to it. It feels good to just walk past these. They're reminders of who you are and your accomplishments and all that. It's also a reminder of gratitude. But this right here is my most prized possession in the whole entire home. Kobe Bryant was my hero. I have a tattoo for Kobe right here. And this was a birthday present a couple of years ago before he passed. I had met him after a game, and the first thing he says to me, he says, "Yo, young Elvis." And he told me to chase the Beatles and to never give up and to just want to always be great and to always, remember that Mamba mentality. And it was crazy, the motivation that somebody could give me, in just like a brief exchange like that. But this gift meant the world to me because it was forever and it was tangible. It says, "To G-Eazy, do the phenomenal." Signed, Kobe. Imagine walking past that every day you go into the studio. How could you not want to be great? As we enter down these...
You have to feel for him. You have to connect with him when you hear a story like that. It would be awesome to have something like that if you had an idol or somebody that you really looked up to as a mentor, maybe from a distance, and then you were to get that item, tragically they pass away, but then you forever have that. Yeah, that would be forever motivating.
These stairs, you transport into a different universe. And this is where the magic gets made, man. Again, I'm really big on rugs, especially in studios. I love to work on a song and then sit down and lay down on the rug and listen to the song and hear how it sounds from the floor. I might be weird like that, but that's my vibe. I did most of the Beautiful and Damned in this room. I did the majority of my new album, These Things Happen Too, down here as well. It was tough because quarantine, at first, nobody was seeing anybody, so it was just me down here. But then my engineer and producer, he moved to Zimbabwe. So most all of quarantine, it was just me down here. I had to re-teach myself how to engineer again. I had to re-teach myself how to produce most of my music again. So it's literally just me down here in this room, sitting at that keyboard, making the music from scratch. Whenever I'm working on a new song and, if I don't have any of the homies over or anybody to ask their opinion to see if it's good or not, I just ask Mac Dre. I got my Mac Dre bobblehead right here. Mac Dre, Diz in peace, one of the legends from the Bay Area, one of the greatest rappers of all time. Yeah, I'll just play the song, put him on the speaker, and if he nods his head to it, then that's how you know it's a slap. This bathroom I love. I wanted it to feel like a bathroom in New York City at a bar or something cool. The tiles just remind me of New York subways. And again, it's got that dark green.
I think I'm connected with this video. I think we're going in the right direction with the things that I've said and then what he says. So with that being said, if me from the outside, if I can verbalize what I think he was going for and then he says it, then obviously he nailed it. So, good job to him and his interior team because they've emulated it perfectly.
I don't think this shower has ever been used, but it's a beautiful shower. There's probably been times where I've stayed in the studio too long and probably need a shower, but I don't think I've ever actually used that shower, but it looks beautiful. This, when I bought the house, obviously it was not like this. We had an acoustician come in and custom make all these panels, add the hue lights, treat the room for sound. We added these blackout curtains, because the thing about music is once you get in that space, it might not matter what time it is. I can work all night long, I can work all day long. It doesn't really matter. I can't be distracted by any of that. We redid this whole side, added the kitchenette, the marble countertop, fridge, the dishwasher. You pretty much got it all. You can make your top ramen down here as well as upstairs in the kitchen.
That was cool. I enjoyed that tour. Very modest house. I like everything that he did with it. That was a fun tour to go through. If you enjoy this type of stuff, if you have any in particular feedback on G-Eazy's home here, comment it down below. I'd be interested to see what you guys thought of it. I liked it. But yeah, we'll try to include more of these tours, or I will try to include more of these tours in the lineup of videos that I release. Talk to you in the next video.